Guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. We are back here at Dream Giveaway Garage, and boy, oh boy, do I have one heck of a muscle car for you. It's this right here. This is a 1970 Chevrolet Camaro, and as you can see from the side, this is a Camaro Z28. But before we get into this rear-wheel drive American V8 muscle car, let's talk about what's going on here. The birth of the Camaro. 1967 was the year, and obviously it was in response to the Ford Mustang, which, remember, Ford got the jump start by a couple years. Now, by 1969, we were coming to the end of that first generation of the Camaro, and during that time, Chevrolet wanted to get involved in what has to be one of the golden eras of road racing, which at that time was the Trans Am Series, the Sports Car Club of America, SCCA Trans Am Series. Now, what you saw in that series were two different classes, one with big displacement engines and one with smaller displacement engines. In that top class, that was the fighting grounds for the big three. You had the Chevrolet Camaro Z28, which was specifically built to race in Trans Am. Of course, the mighty Boss 302 Mustangs, and we can't forget about the Challenger TAs. Now, what's interesting is that during that time, the magic number was 302 cubic inches. And what Chevy did is that they made the Z28 to have that 302 specifically, a small displacement, high revving engine. Now, what's fascinating is by 1970, things were changing, rules were changing, and we now had a new generation of the Camaro. So what I want to find out is, a lot of people are upset that Chevrolet is pulling the plug on the Camaro for 2024. Many people felt that they should have took some style from the 1970 Camaro and created a new generation. So let's go ahead, let's find out, is this one of the best muscle cars ever to wear the Camaro name? Let's go ahead, dive into this 1970 Z28 and find out. Right off the bat, the style. You notice from the overall look and the proportions, this is definitely a new generation of car. And if you ever wondered, Joe, why do they call it the Z28? All that simply is the option code. So back during this time period, if you wanted that high performance, you would check off the Z28 box, which was what the option code is, and that's why it's called the Camaro Z28. Now, at the front end of the business, you'll see a more sleek design for the time. We have that large, round headlight with the chrome insert, and this is a very rare Z28 from 1970 because it's got the split bumper design that's part of the RS package. So technically this is a Z28 RS, and you could option vehicles like that back then. You could have an SS RS or a Z28 RS to have some unique look. So that split bumper literally is what it says. You have part of the bumper on one side, and then when we get to the passenger side, you'll see the other part of the bumper. I love the way that they did the style. Nice clean round on the turn signals. And then of course down below you are going to get this splitter, which is part of that Z28 package that they used in Trans Am racing. Now as we come across that iconic grille, look at that Z28 badge, just like in 2014, which remember on the 5th generation of the Camaro, they brought the Z28 back. Nice to see that badge there. The way that they did the center grille area is probably my favorite part of this car. I like the way it's got a nice peak in the center, both top and bottom, and then it angles back towards the headlights. Really, really unique design. Like I said, coming from a 69 to a 70, you'll know the difference immediately. And as I come all the way over, you can see the other part of that split bumper design. Now, when we get up onto the hood and the nose, this being an RS equipped Z28, we have the rally stripes. The big difference between racing stripes and rally stripes don't go all the way over. On racing stripes, they start down low, go up top, and then go across the trunk and down towards the rear bumper. You'll notice on rally stripes, which you could still get on a Camaro to this day until they stop making them, are the rally stripe design. You'll notice the unique Camaro badge, something that they did back in 1970. And then, just like I said, the lines scream what was happening during this period of time. Now, as we come around the bend, what are we working with wheel and tire setup on the Z28? You're gonna notice, guess what? This being a rally sport, these rally sport wheels, love the gunmetal finish on them, the Chevrolet bow tie, 15-inch wheels. So we're not talking about 20-inch wheels, 19-inch wheel. This is what the technology was at the time, plus the fact that we're running these Goodyear Polyglass GT. These are bias ply tires. This is actually the same design of the tire that they ran back in 1970. Now, coming down the fender, classic Z28 badge, really, really clean. Love the way it angles sharply down towards that door sill and comes all the way clean to the rear. You do have, obviously, back in the day, metal door handles. Love the way they sculpted the side mirrors. Nice and small, all same body colored. And the metal trim is iconic for this period of time. Now, as we come towards the rear, I kind of want to focus on what's going on here. Back in 1970, you had an option higher up to get four-wheel disc brakes. This has discs up front, older style drum brakes on the rear, because that is what still many of the vehicles had back then. Heck, my good buddy Chris, back in high school, his 92 Mustang, his Fox body Mustang, had drum brakes even as a 92. This is a 1970. The Z28 had 410 gears. So in that pumpkin, the differential, driving these two rear wheels, obviously posi traction, 410 gearing, and then coming around the back, this is my favorite, the rally stripes, and look at this rear spoiler. The way that it sculpts nicely into the rear fender, into the actual trunk. You got the Z28 badge, looking super clean. And then, of course, we have the quad taillights. Nice round shape to mimic. And you can see the design even in the reflector. I mean, look at how it comes to a point. Just different type of time where they really paid so much attention to detail. Super slim on the rear bumper. And then you have your dual outlet exhaust. Of course, with some nice headers to get that power to the ground and coming out to hear that nice roar. But while we go ahead, let's pop the hood and see what is special about this Z28. All right, guys, we got the hood popped. Underneath the hood, nothing but engine. No air conditioning on the Z28 Camaro. What you have is that LT1 5.7 liter, 350 cubic inch V8. It's what's called a solid lifter V8, which is going to give us a distinct sound when you hear the rumble out the exhaust. Like that air cleaner, that chrome air cleaner cover says, 360 horsepower, 370 pound-feet of torque. It's mated to the M21 Rock Crusher, 4-speed manual transmission, 410 gears, and a Hurst shifter. And of course, underneath that air cleaner, we have a Holley 4-barrel carburetor, 0 to 60 in about 5.5 seconds, quarter mile in about 13.9 seconds at 103 miles per hour. So that's what you're looking at for performance. You could see with this particular example from Dream Giveaway Garage just how clean it is. Steven and I actually ate our lunch off that engine and that air cleaner cover. That's how clean it is. And just the fact that you could see everything very easily. I mean, come back in and let me just give you guys a bird's eye view here. You have your alternator right up top. You have your power steering. You could clearly see your valve covers, the exhaust manifolds, spark plug wires. Out back is where you had the distributor, your brake booster. Everything has a lot of space, easy to get to. And this is just a simpler time. I mean, that's just the bottom line with this engine compartment. Well, why don't we go ahead? We got the keys. There's no push button start. Let's crank that ignition and fire up the Z28 Camaro. All right, guys, we're inside this 1970 Z28 Camaro. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I've always wanted a classic Camaro, especially a Z28. I'm loving the color combo on this one. How much is it? MSRP is only $4,469. That's it. Gotcha. That's the actual original MSRP back in 1970. Now, if you watch Meekum, you watch Barrett Jackson, these cars are trading hands for $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, depending on who's in the room, the condition of the car, and everything else. Great news is you can get it from Dream Giveaway Garage. And remember, if you use the Ladies Rise promo code and spend $25 or more, you double your chances. And like I said, in all my other reviews from Dream Giveaway Garage, they do not pay me to say that. It's just their way to show some love to the Ladies Rides family. But let's see what you're getting back in 1970 to the door panels. You'll see the tan design of the interior. Very simplistic, but very clean. If you're wondering what is that silver device with the round circle at the end, that's how you roll up your windows, kids, back in 1970. No power windows in this particular car. No place to put your Twinkies in the door panel. But you know what? That's where it was at the time. Now, going from the door panel to the dash, very, very clean design, soft material back in 1970. Down below, these are cool. You actually push and pull these levers, and there's vents in the floorboard area to bring in cool air. We do have air vents, but we don't have actual AC because there's no AC compressor. Simple Camaro name. Where do you put the Twinkies back then? In the glove box. You could easily get, I would say, 28 Twinkies in there. No problem. Lock it up. Come on over. There's our infotainment system. So you have navigation, Apple CarPlay. No, just kidding. All you have is a radio. And this is how it was back then with your presets. You hit the button and then it would slide around. No center console. You have floor, carpet. That's it. And then what do we got? This is where you're going to make that magic happen the good old-fashioned way. That M21 Rock Crusher 4-speed manual transmission. Her shifter, very, very famous name in shifters. I love the throws, and the engagement is just absolutely phenomenal for this time period. You do have your seat belts, which remember your lap belts, General Motors, your lap belts are separate from your shoulder harness. Shoulder harness you can keep tucked up, and then you can just put your lap belt. Hell, back in 1970, a lot of people weren't even wearing seat belts, period. Back seat area, you actually have some pretty decent room for a couple people. A lot more room than a newer Camaro, but still on the tight side. And then you'll notice on the passenger seat, no bolstering, nothing like that. It basically is just a seat. You got some springs, it's all manual control, and then you have your vinyl material for your headliner. But why don't you come over here? I got a steering wheel that says RS. What does that stand for? Yes, Rally Sport, that I want to show you in the Z28 Camaro. All right, guys, here we are, business time. And just to show everybody at home who's maybe never seen this before, this is how you roll up your windows back then. And then you'd have to roll it back down. So, helps you burn some calories. If you're wondering what is this thing, this is actually to adjust your driver's side mirror. So you move this, and that moves the actual mirror. We do have some nice aluminum sill plate here, and down in the pedal box, it's nothing but pedals. Clutch, brake, throttle, and that extra one is your e-brake. Seat controls, you got your slide, you can adjust the back, and then the steering wheel, back then steering wheels were thin rim. This was the style RS with a little bit of wood grain, and then you got your plethora of gauges, tach, speedometer, a clock, your temp gauge, your fuel gauge, and of course your voltmeter. And I like the way it has this nice like curved little driver focus. I mean, it's all about the driver. Look what the passenger gets, nothing. But the driver has it all. And then one last thing I want to show you is this right here. This is how you lock and unlock the doors. And here's a little fun fact. Back when I was in school, if you had a car that had manual locks, and say you were taking a girl out on a date, of course, being a gentleman, you would open up the door for her first. The way that you knew that the date was going to either end well or that you were definitely guaranteed a second date, was that if she reached over and before you put your key in to unlock your door, she pulled up. So if this is down locked, if she pulled up on it, then you knew that you were in like Flynn. But why don't we go ahead? We got one last thing I want to show you, the trunk, and then we're going on throttle in the Z28. All right, guys, time to show you the trunk. What do we have? We have the door key, which is also the key to the trunk. No push button or anything like that. You actually got to put it in, twist it, lift it, and look at this. You actually have a pretty generous amount of space and a full-size spare. Not a little tiny donut, not just a can of flat fix, full-size spare in the Z28. And this is actually the original spare with the sticker on it, which is kind of cool. So nice to have that for you, just to give you the full taste. But you know what? I don't have a DeLorean for us to go back in time, but I do have the keys to this Z28 Camaro from 1970. Let's take a trip back in time and go on throttle in this muscle car. All right, guys, we are in it to win it inside this 1970 Camaro Z28. So much amazing history, yet such an amazing driving experience. I'm in second gear. If you're ready, I'm ready. On throttle, here we go. Wind it out. Nice. Really amazing, the experience of having that 350 naturally aspirated, unique sound with a solid lifter engine, and of course, just the unique driving style of a day that's gone to the past, gone to the wayside. Everything is so tactile in here, is such a experience of the senses, smell, the hearing. I'm not saying taste, I haven't tasted anything in here yet, and I probably won't, but the experience definitely is one of those to be treasured. And not only do we have a Camaro, but like I talked about earlier, the importance of a Z28. All right, guys, once again, if you're ready, I'm definitely ready. On throttle. Second gear. Just a fun experience behind this wheel that we don't normally get to bring to Rady's Ride. So let me know in that comment section right now if you want to see more of these amazing muscle cars and cars from the past that not only Dream Giveaway Garage has to offer, but also other areas where I could get vehicles like these if this is where you want to see. But it just goes to show, especially the drivers back then that raced these in the Trans Am series, we're not talking about special seats and special steering. Like, everything was how it was, like you see it here. The seat does not hold you in place. It feels like you're sitting on a bunch of springs. Yet visibility is really great. But other than that, this is as raw as you can get. No AC, no 8-track, definitely no cassette. And just looking out across the hood and seeing those rally stripes and just knowing that you're driving a part of not only Chevrolet's history, but also American history as well. It's just really cool to see how that Z28 name developed over the years, and how, remember, even in 2014, 2015, we had the Z28. On throttle. She sounds good. Really, really nice. Having that deep down grunt. Yeah, there's a lot of cars that are modern cars that are gonna probably smoke your doors and blow your doors off. But you know what? There's just something very, very special about this. And that's what I love about it. It's all about the feel. It's all about how the vehicle not only moves our bodies, but it's also moving our soul. And this car definitely has plenty of soul. Now, with it being a 4-speed and with the way the gearing is, even when you're doing 60 miles an hour like we are right now, it's at 3,000 RPM. So this is not the type of car that you're gonna wanna drive across the state of Florida on the highway, because it's gonna be screaming in the revs. But that M21 Rock Crusher transmission is really probably my favorite part out of the driving experience. And like I said, this isn't going to blow away a new Camaro. It just gives you that unique driving experience that a newer Camaro isn't gonna bring. Plus the fact that you look at the value of these, and they're not depreciating, they're appreciating, because a lot of people appreciate what this era was all about. But amazing, after all these years, 23 years, excuse me, what am I saying, 23? We're talking about 53 years old of a vehicle, and she still looks good and runs good. I love the look you get from people. They're just like, what a beautiful, amazing muscle car. Gauges are real easy to see because you have such a thin rim steering wheel. Brakes are working great too for the type of car that it is. But we're gonna get back. I hope you've liked this little kind of trip back in time, back to 1970. I wasn't even around yet, but this car was. We're gonna get back to Dream Giveaway Garage. I hope you enjoyed this overall experience with this car. We're gonna get back and wrap this one up. So I'll see you in a split second. See you guys. All right, guys, it's been a mighty muscle car kind of day here on Rady's Rides. Definitely want to thank Lori, Chris, Ryan, the whole team at Dream Giveaway Garage for lending us the keys to this dream muscle car, this 1970 Z28. Let me know what you think. Is this your favorite generation of the Camaro? Should they come out with a new one and use this design? Let me know down in that comment section how you feel about it. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Rady's Rides family. Of course, we need to show our love and affection. Yes, he's got lots of women calling him up, but he also loves all the compliments he gets from the Rady's Rides family. So show him some love in the comment section. Thank you, Steven, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.